Warning, the following contains content intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. What's up, peeps, and welcome to Monster Hunter World with me, your host, Zod19. Now, instead of this being another hunt video like the last one was, I'm actually going to make a tips for beginners video. This will be a tips for beginners. If you don't want to watch something like this, you don't want to have, some random guy on the internet yell at you and tell you how to do things, don't watch this video. But if you're going to have an open mind and you want to seek advice from someone who is not a noob or a beginner to the Monster Hunter series, stay tuned. You might learn something or have something reaffirmed for you. Let's start with a little background on me. While I am very new to Monster Hunter World, I only have 15 hours of gameplay so far, I'm not a beginner to the series. I've been playing Monster Hunter since Monster Hunter 1. Back then I used a great sword and sometimes a heavy bowgun. I played Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, which is technically Monster Hunter 2, in which I used a long sword a lot. I played Monster Hunter Tri on the Wii, and more often than not found myself using the Switch Axe, which was a hell of a lot of fun. And I also played Monster Hunter Generations, which was roughly about the same age bracket as Monster Hunter 4, and I used the Charge Blade a lot in that game. And now here we are in the 5th game in the series, Monster Hunter World, where I am, once again, a heavy bowgunner. A lot has changed since the very first game, and from my hundreds of hours of experience, holy shit, I kid you not, I put about 200 to 300 hours into Monster Hunter 1, and roughly about 200 hours across the next 3 games combined. So I would say my experience with Monster Hunter as a series is between 450 and 500 hours worth of gameplay. I've tried every weapon type at least once, but I will tell you right now, I'm not an expert with any of them. The experience I gained using the Great Sword in Monster Hunter 1 is not going to help me with Monster Hunter World. They changed the weapon around way too many times, adding charged attacks and true charge strikes and all that fun stuff. But enough about my history. Let's get into the actual tips and tricks. The stuff that you actually came here for. Now, these are tips for beginners to the game, so if you already know some of this stuff, feel free to skip around the video. I'm not going to include timestamps or anything because I ramble a lot, so I have no idea where any of this stuff is going to be. Maybe I will. Maybe it'll be in the description. Who knows? Try looking. If it's not there, I didn't get to it. If it is, oppa! Yeah. Anyways, here's my first tip. Find a weapon type that resonates with you. In this game, there are a shit ton of weapon types, and all of them are completely viable. Let's do tree. Yeah. And all of them are completely viable to use against every monster in the game. Doesn't matter if it's a small, quick, aggressive type monster, or if it's a big, slow, and lumbering type monster. Every weapon type is capable of bringing them down. The only difference is you need different approaches to deal with the monsters. But those you'll develop on your own as you use your weapon. Now, because there are a lot of weapon types in the game, finding the one or the two that resonate with you, that really work, that make you feel powerful and indestructible when you use them, is exceedingly important. There's nothing worse than learning a weapon that you don't like and using it for half of the game only to find a monster come up against a monster that weapon type isn't exactly the best to work against it. Now, it's capable of bringing them down, but you're going to have a harder time fighting, and then you get dissatisfied, uninterested, and you just stop playing the game. That's horrible. That's terrible. So when you're a beginner, use every weapon type. Try them all out. You get all of the iron weapons at the very beginning of the game, plus 2 of these kinsects that you can use with your insect glaive. You get a whole bunch of weapons. So try them. Find the one that works for you. It might be the greatsword, which is powerful and
a close range weapon with low mobility but powerful attacks.
Yeah, see what she said. It's very slow, but when it hits like a goddamn truck. And because it's the slashing element, it has the potential of cutting off tails and all of that fun stuff that is expected from blade-type weapons. On the other end of that spectrum is the iron hammer.
A heavy weapon used to strike monsters at point-blank range and stun them.
It does blunt damage. It's slow and lumbering, just like the greatsword, but if you hit a monster in the face, you'll either make it flinch or you'll knock the fucker out, which can be extremely helpful when you're fighting those aggressive in-your-face type monsters that move so fast it's hard for the other people in your party to hit them. Get up in there, bash its face in. That's what the hammer's for. And all of these weapons all have some kind of perk and some downside to them. Like the iron katana, or the longsword as you want to call it. It has a specific play style where you slash and you cut and you build up spirit gauge, and then you use this awesome like cleaving type attack that does a huge amount of damage. It can instantly sever most wyverns' tails with 2 or 3 uses of the ability. That's awesome. The downside is that it has sweeping attacks which can knock over your teammates if they don't have anti-tripping armor sets, which can be bad for multiplayer. If you're playing single player, it might be amazing. There's sword and shield. It's quick, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. It's got a shield, but it's not very good at blocking. You can, however, use items without having to sheath your weapon, which is amazing and great when you're in the middle of a fight and you realize, oh crap, I don't have time to put away my weapon to use a mega potion. You don't have to worry about that. You can just immediately use the mega potion and be fine. Dual blades. They hit fast, but they do not hit hard. They hit the fastest out of all the weapon types in the games, except for maybe a really good wyvern snipe that pierces through the whole of the monster and then blows up. But that's about it. There is almost nothing faster than this weapon. The downside is it doesn't hit very hard. And then you've got your tanking weapons like the lance and the gun lance. Lance has a massive shield, and you can attack while that shield is up. You make the perfect tank to keep the monster's hate right on you, so that everyone else can pelt it from the sides and the back, go for that tail sever and stuff, you know? Gun lance is kind of like if you took a lance and put a cannon inside of it. It's pretty neat. It does have some downsides in the fact that it doesn't do quite as much damage or defensive abilities as the lance. But for me, it never really resonated, so I can't give it a good, shining recommendation to people. The switch axe. Switch axe switches between the axe mode and the greatsword mode. The greatsword mode is faster and hits harder, but the switch axe mode has better range, and for some reason you have better mobility in the heavy axe and the axe mode. I don't know why, but you do. The Charge Blade. It's like a sword and shield that transforms into a big-ass axe. It's fucking cool. But for this game, I wanted to try something different, so I haven't actually touched it in this one. From what I've heard, it's very powerful. The Insect Glaive. It's technical in how you raise the bugs, but it's also a master of being in the air and mounting a monster. The best ways to take down some monsters is to get on its back and just stab it repeatedly. And Insect Glaive will get you there, and it will make you do so. And that's basically all the up-close and personal weapons that you can use. And of course there's different types of kinsects, from your blunt damage and your severing damage and so on. And I am not an expert in that, and I cannot tell you whether it's fun or not, but give it a try. Maybe it'll work out for you. That's the whole point of being given one of every weapon type at the beginning of the game. It's to find a weapon that works for you, that makes you feel unstoppable when you use it. That's what you want. And then we have the ranged weapon types, which come in 3 different types. The bow, which might actually be quite fun in this. I haven't tried it yet. I want to, but I haven't gotten around to it. The heavy bowgun, which can deal out some pretty awesome damage from range. And then you've got the light bowgun, which has never been my favorite weapon to use. The upsides is the amount of mobility you get with the bow is complemented by the amount of damage you can do. It's like a middle range kind of thing. Then you've got your heavy bowgun, which is slow, but deals a lot of damage. And your light bowgun, which is fast. You have a lot of mobility using it, but it doesn't do as much damage as the heavy bowgun. Once you've found a weapon that resonates with you, it's important that you learn that weapon. Use it. Fight a lot of hunts with it. Use it in the training ground. Learn the ins and outs of it. And I highly recommend changing your control scheme to best use that weapon. Especially if you're playing on the PC. If you're using the mouse and keyboard like I am, you'll notice that some of the key bindings are very weird. Like aiming is V for some reason, and putting on your special ammo is like control and so on. That's so weird. So I changed it around so that I can aim with right click and put my special ammo on by hitting F. Those 2 changes greatly enhanced my gameplay and made me enjoy the weapon more. And that's a good thing. You want to enjoy the weapon that really works for you. Let's see, what else? Do your prep work. This is the next tip that I can give. Do your prep work. When I say do your prep work, I mean upgrade the gear that you're wearing, make new gear if you need it. Eat before or during hunts. Do expeditions to learn the entirety of a map. Because when you first enter a new map, you only have access, or only have the map visible for the areas you've actually walked into. So if there's the monster you're trying to find, not having access to the full map makes it difficult to find a way to get to them. The scout flies can help to a degree, but not always. Plus, as you run around on the expedition, it will show where all of the gatherable stuff is. It allows you to pick up stuff and all that fun stuff. And they will be permanently marked on your map for the rest of the game. So you'll know where a specific item is just in case you run out and need to go and get more. You can go straight to it and pick up what you need and come back in like 5 minutes. if you're gonna play a bowgun type, like me, always make sure that you go into your hunt with your ammo. Replenish your ammo stocks. Know what type of ammo that your bowgun can use, and make sure you have that. Because more often than not, when you get into a hunt, you're going to be like, oh, let's go find and kill this monster and let's get this done. And you're going to get out there and pull out your gun only to realize you used up all your ammo on the last hunt. And now you have to run back to base camp to recharge. Or do very little damage using normal ammo 1. And that's never the thing that you want to do. Better accommodations, please select private quarters and move to new room and you'll be upgraded. Ooh! Private quarters. Yes, please. Oh, nice. Is that an aquarium literally right outside my window? That's beast. That's beast. I didn't even realize I'd unlocked this. Very cool. Very, very cool. Look at that. That's nice. That's nice. Alright. Also, don't be afraid to use SOS flares or to respond to SOS flares. When you enter into a new match or a new hunt, the first 10 minutes are going to be when you want to use the SOS flare. And that's generally before you know if you can beat the monster or not during the time limit. Well, yes, every weapon type can bring down every monster. The strength of the weapon you have from your weapon type will greatly change the outcome of a fight. If you've got the level 1 iron greatsword and you're taking on Nergigante, you're going to find yourself struggling to kill it within 50 minutes because you just do not do enough damage to take it down. Don't be afraid to pop your SOS flare to ask for help. However, if you wait after 10 minutes, anyone who joins after that point will not get rewards. And that's usually kind of a turnoff for most people. They'll go to the SOS flares and go to join quests and they'll see that it's been longer than 10 minutes and they will not receive rewards for helping. They'll be like, it would be better if I used my time on something else. So as soon as you enter into a quest that you think you may not be able to handle alone, pop your SOS flare. If somebody decides to join you, they will. And on the flip side of that, if you're bored and you can't think of any quests that you feel like doing right now, or maybe you want to repeat a quest so you can get specific items, run over and respond to an SOS flare. There's always at least 10 or 15 of them, no matter what time of day it is. So just find one that works for you, give it a shot, help some people out. Give back to all the people that have helped you. Make friends. And finally, take your time on hunts. Don't be afraid to run away from a monster and let it stop attacking you so you can run back to camp, restock your items, eat again, whatever you need to do. Maybe switch out to a different weapon because, you know, you were trying something new but now is not the time to try it out. Don't be afraid to do that. Change appearance? Excuse me. Change appearance? Hi? Oh, it's just gonna be the... okay. But yeah, don't be afraid to run back to camp, to take a breather or something. You know? You don't have to go balls to the wall all the time in the middle of a hunt. They give you 50 minutes for a reason. They want you to take your time, act like a hunter and not a guns blazing Leroy Jenkins all the time. But hey, if that's your playstyle and that works for you, go for it. But in my experience, taking your time, it can be the best way to win some of the fights. Because you never know. If there are multiple monsters in the area, they may just attack each other and you get free damage on the monster you want to kill. Especially in the later game when Devil Joe starts appearing. He will attack everything that moves. And he will deal massive damages if he wins. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically my beginner tips and tricks. Find a weapon that works for you. Learn your weapon. Learn the monster hunts. Find out their habits, their attack patterns, what areas they tend to appear in. Do your prep work before your hunts. Eat. Restock your ammo. Restock your supplies. Go on expeditions to fill out the map. Gather what you need. Don't be afraid to use SOS flares or respond to them. It's perfectly okay to help people out and to ask for help. You're not a one-man army as much as you want to feel like that. Sometimes you're going to encounter a monster that can just straight up kick your ass, but if you have one other person there, you can kill it. Because it's not always attacking you. And for the most part, that's the point of the SOS flare. So, yeah. There you go. I hope some of these tips can help you out in your journey to become even better at the game. Thank you all for watching, peeps. If you liked the video, please click that like button. And if you want to see more content from me, your host, 19, be sure to click that subscribe button. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.